You are listening to Not on the Payroll right here at KJS 107.3 FM. If you want to call and chime in tonight, feel free. Matter of fact, we want to do a little audio check because we got a new gadget. We got a new gadget here with this microphone. And but here's the deal. I'm your host, Jay Sharp, and I am sitting here with my co-host, Kerry Thomas. How are you, sir?
I'm as surly as you can be. As I told you earlier, I'm in the Thomas mood, as we would say at the house.
What does that consist of?
Some sort of where you're just surly and don't like anybody or anything, especially yourself.
That's a general rule of thumb, isn't it?
So, I think so.
Yeah, well, here's the deal. We have a very special guest tonight. We'll get to him in just a moment, but we want to thank who are our sponsors, sir. We have Stewart Glass and Lake Area Pond.
Yes, sir.
Have you been to Lake Area Pond yet?
I keep saying I'm going to go, and I have not. And I need to go before I shame myself.
Well, I will say this. Last few times I've been, I've walked out
with the firearm.
Walked out with
That's
firearms.
what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, they've got some great gear. I mean, they've got some great stuff there, and I normally try to swing by there once a month, something like that, and just check out what's new. What's new moving in there. If money was not an option, what weapon would you go to?
Right now, I would buy one of those Colt Pythons that they've come out with. But you're right. Or they have come out. Springfield has come out with a new clone of the Browning High Power. I might. I think it's an SA 35. I think's what they're calling it.
Really.
And I think I'd like to have both of those, actually.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
So, right now I'm looking for have you seen these switch pistols?
No.
Have you seen those?
Yeah, depending on which one you're talking about. The Trailblazer, and then there's some others.
I'm familiar with that one.
Yeah. But you're running 22 caliber or,
it's something small. It's just a get off of
fun,
it. It's pretty slick though.
Kind of like a life car.
About $400 or $500. But here's the deal.
It's walking around money for you, man.
Yeah, well, exactly. Now, if you haven't been over to Lake Erie Pond, go over there and check those guys out. We really appreciate them sponsoring the show. We appreciate everything our sponsors do for us. If you're out there and you're a business and you want to sponsor, then what you need to do is you need to hit me up. Go over to notonthepayroll.com, shoot us an email, and we can tell you how to get sponsored. Also, Stewart Glass, if you've got anything glass-wise, if you've had your glass break, if your wife punched you and knocked you through a window and you need to get that replaced, or if you threw a dog or a cat through the window, you can get that one replaced too.
I could see that, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I can see that more in Southeast Texas than I could the other.
Yeah.
Which I've seen some girls.
The other one, I've caught some girls I was scared of. What are you talking about?
So, Stewart Glass, they can hook you up. Craig Stewart, Vicky Stewart, Sammy Stewart, they are the glass people here in Jasper. And so, if you have anything that is automotive related, far as glass, and even in your home, they can take care of you. So, we wanted to let you know that they are the ones who stand behind the First and Second Amendment, and we appreciate them. Man, where to start? Where to
go?
So,
the interesting part was before we came on the air, when we got off the... Yeah, we got to talk about firearms, and, I can probably talk about firearms for ever and a day, and I started off by asking what he was carrying, and he asked what I was carrying tonight, and...
and that's how it starts.
Yeah, and that's pretty much how
we got in America, sir.
How we kicked off.
That's right.
How we kicked off here. So.
Well, just to introduce our guest tonight, we are sitting here with Jamey Spears. He is with Spears Tactical out of Newton. Some of you may have seen his vehicle running around town or here in the region. But, Jamey, we appreciate you for coming in and sitting down with us.
Thanks, Jay. Appreciate it.
Good deal. Well, so tell us this. I mean, I know whenever I looked at your card, you've got a list of things on the back of your card.
Yeah.
And just kind of fill the people in as to what you do.
Well, basically, whenever I get that question, and I get it a lot, is anything firearms related, period. If you've got an old gun that, you've had in the closet that maybe is a hand-me-down throughout family, like a heirloom or something like that, and you just never wanted to mess with it. I do a lot of restoration and stuff like that of really, really old firearms.
Okay.
You
are FFL.
Oh yeah, FFL. Yeah. License.
Sure.
Yeah. So I mean, I can do transfers. You could. I'm not a storefront gun store, as to say. With guns lining the walls. Maybe someday, but it's just finances and whatever.
Sure.
But I'm more on the repair, service, and advice end of things.
Okay.
And customize, of course, as well. So, I mean, anything farm related out there, folks, you would ever need, or even if it's just advice on a topic that you're not sure of that's farm related, you can get a hold of me. I'll give you the number, and we'll say it multiple times, but it's 409-379-5678. And that's Spears Tactical there in Newton.
That's 379-5678. It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Easy to remember.
Yeah.
So let me just tell the people this. Tonight's going to be a 2-hour special. We're actually going to sit down with Mr. Spears here for about an hour. And if you want to call in and you want to ask him some questions, you can feel free to do so. If you want to shoot us a message on YouTube, we are on YouTube Live right now. This is where you're going to be hearing us tonight. We had another collision with baseball again this week, and it never happened 2 weeks in a row.
We better get us a ball and a bat and a glove and all this for next week, just in case.
It makes me I'm perspiring thinking about that. I don't
even
want to touch a ball.
Could you see me even playing baseball right now?
Exactly.
Yeah, at this point, no, I can't even.
So the thing is, you can go over to Facebook, you can go over to YouTube, you can go to Not on the Payroll, you can check us out everywhere online. Also, shoot out, like, share, and subscribe if you are interested in what we're doing. We are trying to be a resource here for the community here in Jasper, Newton, and Tyler County. And we have a number of things that we're going to talk about in the second hour, but we want to take this first hour and really kind of dig in on a few different topics, specifically home security, home defense, and also really what we need to do, at least from a professional standpoint, what we need to do as people when we're going into towns like Beaumont or Houston or going up to Lufkin or maybe even just trolling around the roads in Buena. What we may need to watch out for, and so to kind of
the Buena one has me concerned at this point, but that's another story entirely.
It is true.
Yeah.
But if you're out there and you're listening, please like, share, and subscribe if you like what we're doing. And we're going to just keep coming to you every Thursday night, 7 o'clock. We'll either be live on the radio or we'll be live on YouTube, one or the other. Or maybe even both occasionally. But Jamey, tell us kind of what your thoughts are. Why do people need to be in a defensive mind frame? Why is that important?
Statistics.
Okay.
Statistics. Whenever I get asked that question, that's one of the things I bring up to folks. And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, have you ever looked at the statistics of how many people go missing a year? You ever see? Okay, and that's like, I think we're into it about 18,000. I think this year already. Last year was 600 and something thousand.
Yeah.
Okay, and nationally, you're talking about, I think it's like 500 and some odd thousand people go disappear. In America every year.
Yeah.
Every year, folks.
Yeah.
Every year. Where these people magically going, who knows? But some of them are incidences where, in that statistic, that it's just a person who's misplaced or lost or whatever, and hopefully 90% of the time those people are found. But that's not the truth. That is not what happens. There's bad things happen around us all the time.
Sure.
I'm ex-tactical law enforcement, many years removed, but yeah, there's bad things happen all the time, folks. Some folks know that a little bit more than others.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't want to be a statistic. I'm not going to be some tweaked out maniac's victim.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be some sick, sadistic individual that decides to go into a populated area and hurt people. Not me, folks. I'm not gonna sit there and just quack on the pond,
So
so the thing is about that, as I would say, is there's many different facets of why you could carry one, but upmost, your family, they mean something to you, right? Getting home to them every day, getting to spend time with them, seeing your kids grow up, right?
Sure.
Well, there's people out there who want to take that away from you. And they're all over the place. And they just wait for the right time. Hopefully, God bless us all. We all make it through life and never have a situation like that. But there's a lot of people who are never heard of again or just violently attacked. Now we're going to another statistic, and you can pretty much just keep diving on into this deeper. How many assaults? How many murders? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Then those numbers that I was saying earlier, they go up.
Yeah.
So, yes, you should be protective of anything, any situation. It could be an outdoor event. Maybe it's a wild dog that's rabid. It could be anything that could take place at any time. And the unfortunate is that, hey, that's the element we live in. But that's been the element of mankind pretty much ever since the evolution of gunpowder and invention of gunpowder.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So, if you were going to break down some of the processes, I think this. I mean, we'll get into home security here in a little bit, but if you're going to break down kind of your process and thought patterns when you go into, say, Beaumont, say you're going down to Beaumont, and then we can kind of dial it back from Houston or Beaumont to more
Sure.
a home-based type of thing. How do you approach that? I mean, how do you encourage people to approach that?
Well, okay. The thing that I always reiterate to individuals or express is that, cognitive surroundings, being aware of your cognitive of your surroundings. What's going on around you? What's the sounds and what's the actions of people that are going on around you? Many people are so blinded, this is what they do all the time. Somebody could just walk up and just bat them right in the head and they wouldn't even know anything was happening.
Sure.
Because nobody looks up anymore. Nobody has a conscious awareness to pay attention to what's going on around them.
Yeah.
And so, for one, that, and I mean that for anybody. Guy of your stature, my stature, woman, it doesn't matter. None of us are impervious to evil doings of other people.
Right.
Just out of curiosity's sake, do you go to Beaumont?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Matter of fact, we're just
On
down
a
there.
regular basis?
Oh, by the way, I'm going to be there at their 511. I've done things with them before. And
Because I rarely go to Beaumont.
Yeah. Oh,
rarely.
Yeah.
Rarely.
Yeah. Well, if I will plug this just right quick, 511. I know
Go ahead.
511 Tactical. I've worked with them a lot.
Right.
A lot, very deeply. So
They're having an event or something?
yes, yeah, they're going to be having an event. Okay, everybody.
What's the dates on this?
It's going to be the 14th, the next Saturday, the 14th of next month. It's going to be an all-day event, and there's going to be they're going to be giving discounts and going to have a sidewalk sale and all kinds of cool stuff. So it'd be something to go if you're a firearm enthusiast or someone who is into tactical apparel or just outdoor lifestyle. That'd be something.
And where is 511 located?
Oh, it is off of, what's that, Bowling? What's that? Bowling?
Is it Dallin?
Yeah.
It's off of Dowling.
It's
off of Dowling, yeah.
Dallin Road. Yeah. And it's off of Dallin Road, right, basically almost in the mall parking lot right there.
It's right across the street from it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they're going to have a big
just to
shindig.
do, yeah. They do them in different ones. I've done different ones. I've christened this door opens of some other ones and stuff. And I did the two custom firearms. They're custom camo done for them. The president and the guy, the head of CEO of 511, have two guns directly that I did for them.
Okay.
Very
What
cool.
kind of guns were they?
They're AR platforms.
Okay.
Battle Rifle Company AR platforms. I used to work for those guys and still work in conjunction with them and stuff.
Okay.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So you're saying, going back to the awareness thing, just head on the swivel, really kind of paying attention, not being distracted when you get out in public.
Yeah. Keep your face out of your cell phone unless it's necessary if you're going to be around crowds of people. especially if you're going to be somewhere where, it's a little unsavory, gas station, different part of town.
Any kind of parking lot.
Yeah, any kind of parking lot, especially if you're in the mall parking lots, even restaurants, people get carjacked. And the thing is the folks, y'all don't get these statistics. You watch your local news at night, and it's just like pop, 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 sugarcoat, pop, 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 and nothing really goes on. They don't really talk about what really happens. Trust me, law enforcement side of things, they're busy all the time. Law enforcement are busy all the time. Right. It's not just one thing here or there. So yeah, we're busy all the time. People are, they're taking care of things. That being said, they're busy taking care of situations that transpire out in the public setting or even residential. There's points in times where some people have family members that they would need to protect themselves from.
Sure.
Often.
Yeah, that's true.
Much less people who are going through a troubled divorce or an abusive situation need to have the protection for themselves.
Well, he's originally from Vidor, so he knows exactly what he's talking about.
Well, I don't know. Man, I've heard a lot of things about Vidor. I don't know.
Sure. Vidor has changed greatly.
It used to be
back in the 60s and 70s when I was there. It was
there was a lot of racism.
It was something else. We'll just put it that way. Just something else. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the things I'm interested in is what are say you want one or two items. Say you don't want to carry an AR-15 with you to the mall.
Exactly.
And you're going to go shop a little. What are a couple of little personal items that you would consider? Okay.
Well, let me delve kind of back into some of that for a second. Okay. What are you going to be doing? Where are you going to be going? What's going to be a scenario you're going to be in that day?
Let's just throw it out.
Yeah. This is format.
So that
okay. Yeah. Okay. So what it'd be is according. If you're going to be out in a public setting, something like that. I'm an advocate of open carry, seeing as how we can now. Constitutional. I have my permit anyways. Blah blah. But I am an advocate of open carry if you feel you want to do that. Now, however, you need to have a retention holster in order to do something like that. Not just one that your pistol or revolver just slides in and out of with the hand pull. Kydex ones that just click, click, in and out. No, that is not sufficient. What you need to have, if you're going to be out in a public setting, is some form of a retention holster, i.e. a Blackhawk, something like this one right here. All right? And you have to address it in a manner to where your thumb hits an activation on it, much like a Serpa, but this is a different kind. Doesn't have the external. Most folks are, going to come up from behind and, whoa, guess what? That ain't coming out.
Yeah.
And then guess what, partner? Then you need to turn around and address that situation immediately.
Sure.
There's many different tactics in which you need to do so. If someone does grab your firearm and they're right here, you don't need to turn that way, this way. You need to turn that way. To where you're going to take them with you. They're not going to get your gun. If you turn this way, they might be able to get it and pull it out. Okay, so if you're out in a public setting and you feel someone tug your firearm, what you're going to need to do is immediately take a right, quick, about face. Because that's going to turn your body and strip it away from their hand.
Gotcha.
As best as possible.
Gotcha.
That's your best luck at that point. Secondary, you best have a knife on you. Mm-hmm. And then if they're trying to get your firearm, they're trying to pretty much kill you or someone else. End of sentence. So if somebody's going to take that option and want to try to disarm an individual in a public setting, they got bad intentions on their mind.
Sure.
No doubt about it. So
let me see if I'm hearing this correctly. So if the pistol is on my right side, what I want to do is turn to my left side.
Think about that.
And kind of break loose. Break loose from that.
Think about that. Because if you turn back this way, then you're going to be facing them, and they're still going to be having it. But what you're doing is you're coiling their arm and everything around your body mass as you're rotating.
Gotcha. Okay.
I also do training and tell people stuff like that. That's one of the things I do. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah. So I mean, that's just food for thought for
so
folks.
So firearm is kind of your first go-to.
Yeah. Well, no. First go-to would be is if you can get out of any kind of situation that you might have to use use of force upon.
Right.
You need to get out of that situation.
No, but what I'm saying is a firearm. If you're going into public, and someone is looking to carry with them a few things, a few personal items, a firearm's kind of your first choice.
Well, yeah, knife. I mean, EDC. Okay, everyday carry. You guys know about EDC. Okay, everyday carry, folks out there. Okay, it means it's EDC, which means everyday carry. That means what are the things that you carry around on your body, pretty much religiously, that you keep with you all the time, and on a day-to-day, positive awareness of what's going on around you, being as someone who is proactive to defend themselves, if be in that situation, you need to think about it. And when you just get these things, then you need to pretty much, it becomes sacred to you, that you carry it all the time and it's on you. Right. And you want to carry it affixed to a certain way on your position of your body to where you know where everything is. Right. Where's your wallet? When you carry your pocket, okay, well, you know that. I have asthma inhalers here, hand sanitizer, blah, blah. I carry around on me a flashlight all the time. Reason why? Carry it during the daytime. Carry it around the house. Carry it wherever I'm at. I carry the things that I carry on me. I'm a little bit deeper into things than most folks are. But, hey, I carry a full belt full of stuff every day. Because I go out in the country a lot, do a lot of things, hunt, whatever, and et cetera, et cetera. But, so I keep all these things on me all the time. Like right now, 2, 3 knives, utility knife, cutting knife, normal knife, combat knife, firearm, extra magazine, utility tool, light. Those are the things that I carry on me all the time, pretty much, Okay. Because, if you're in a situation and I'm not telling anyone out there to go out there and dress yourself out and think that suddenly you're an imposing situation to people and carry an arrogance about it. Don't carry an arrogance about it if you're going to carry anything to defend yourself. Sure. Right? Carry a confidence of yourself that, you're proactive and aware. But if you act cocky, running around with a firearm on your side, or it just kind of is disgusting. Yeah. A firearm is a tool. It's not a magic amulet that rushes to people's rescue at the blow of a horn. Right. It is something that is an inanimate piece of metal, polymer, or wood and metal that is mechanical, that will not go off. Now, here's 2 misnomers to firearms. If you lay one down on the ground or on a tabletop and you tell it to go shoot people, well, I hate to tell you all this, but you're going to die before that gun actually gets up and goes and hurts anybody. Sure. If you also tell that firearm to discharge on its own, it's not going to do it forever. You cock it, or if it's racked, in the striker's back, and you lay it down, it could sit in that state for thousands of years, potentially, until it rusts and it breaks down and maybe drops. Humans are the problem. We are the problem. The firearm is not the problem. We are the problem, and what it is you need proper training, you need proper awareness in order to carry a firearm, and you need to have proper mindset for when you're carrying a firearm. Okay?
Have you, just out of curiosity's sake, have you run into any problems with you open carrying any place?
Well, unfortunately,
because I don't open carry. I always conceal carry. Yeah. A part of it is I have family members who don't care for firearms, and because of that, I've always don't let them know I have anything.
Right.
On purpose.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
and I've just gotten to the point
they'll
where
be happy if you're ever in a situation that they need you. Yeah.
Let's hope not, but But I'm CCW.
Yep, absolutely. Well, and I mean, to each their own. I mean, right. That's
But have you run into any problems?
Actually, did here a while back, and wasn't even a big, any kind of a deal. But we were in HEB, and HEB, believe it or not, funny enough. And I hope somebody from HEB hears this because it's annoying. All right, you're a Texas-based operation. All right, Texas is now constitutional carry. Grow the blank up. All right, let people carry their firearm in your establishment. You don't want to get robbed. You don't want any bad things to happen in your store. Well, that's a pretty good start to have an armed populace in there. That you embrace that versus chastise them and run them away.
Well, I find that strange because I've seen people, open carry in both Buc-ee's and Market Basket here.
Yeah. Well, I around here, you never really get any problem.
Yeah.
It's when you go into the city, and then you have, everybody in the cities,
Was that
a
in
little bit more
Beaumont or was that
powdered.
in Houston? That
was in Beaumont.
Okay.
Yeah. And so the manager, he just walks up and, he said, goes, hey, could you mind covering your firearm like that? And I'm like, oh, he was manager. And I was like, oh, well, sure. And I was like, and he goes, we are a 30-06 establishment. And I'm like, okay. See you selling alcohol or wine 50% or 51% of your gross sales or anything like that, but whatever, makes you happy. And they're my white family. I was like, oh, yeah, sure. And he goes, oh, no problem like that. And the person I was with, a peace officer, and so that individual said, I am, and he was, okay, well, and I'm like, and I said, I'm also licensed, federal firearms license.
Did he mention that perhaps that somebody said something?
No,
okay.
No, it's just their policy. It's their
really?
policy, general policy now, general policy.
I did not know
that's
that.
why it's a little bit offensive there, HEB, if anybody's listening.
Sure.
Because, hey, this is Texas, and hopefully we stay Texas, which I can go into something else here that, oh, man, we've got bad predictions about what's going to take place. But anyhow, that being said, if you're going to go out into a public setting and you're going to protect yourself, things I would suggest you carry on you are mace, pepper spray,
Sure.
some form, okay? Mace or pepper spray of some form. If you're a person you want to carry your firearm, get yourself some firearm training. A little bit, just, not just plugging me, but hey, I do it, but from anyone, and we're not talking about, drunk Uncle Ken or something like that, just point and blow away, I'm not talking about that. Get yourself some cognitive, realistic firearms training before you go out in a public setting, okay? Constitutional carry here in Texas now, all right? License is no longer required to folks who don't understand or know that. However, you should still take some firearms training.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I am 1,000 infinity in favor of constitutional carry.
Sure.
I think that Texas drugged their knuckles for far too long about it, preaching the whole time that we were such a proud state of rights and liberty.
I do too.
And so, it's awful.
Well, one of the things to really point out is this. So I'm at a family event, and of course, we have plenty of rednecks in my family, and and some of the guys like to exercise that right, constitutional carry.
Yeah.
Right? The moment that they pick up a beer, they are then illegal. They are in an illegal situation, and interestingly enough, one of the law enforcement side of my family brought that up. And they were like, what? What do you mean, man?
How many beers later was it that he
All
said
I can
something?
say is this. The law enforcement officer made it very clear, once you pick up alcohol and you have it in your hand, you are then illegal.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting here going, okay, how many people... because
God,
all
yes.
through this area, everybody likes Jesus, beer, and guns. And that's pretty much how that...
Not necessarily
not in that order.
Not in
You
that
know what I
order.
mean?
Not in
And
that order.
so to me, that's one of the things to point out is that the moment that you pick up alcohol,
Yes.
you are illegal.
Yes. There again, if you're going into the setting, okay, there again, like I was saying earlier, where is it you're going to be going? What is it you're going to be doing? if you're an individual who is a woman, and you want to carry your firearm in a purse, which just logical to an extent. Okay, but what is somebody going to want to try to grab from you whenever they're going to assault you and you have a purse on? Well, it's your purse.
Yeah.
Their first thing they're going to try to get is that purse. They're going to try to snatch it right off of you and take off running. Now, would that be a scenario where I would say either way, facilitate your firearm and engage? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You are only use a firearm as a last resort scenario. If you cannot talk your way, walk your way, run your way, get your way out of the situation, and you feel that you or the ones immediately around you are in imminent peril, life-death situation, that is the last option you must have to take. And trust me, folks, you don't want to do that. You don't want to have to do that. Yeah. Myself and others who have had to in duty, you don't want to have to do that. You don't want to wear that for the rest of your life. You don't want to have to think about that.
But at the same time, you are in peril.
Yeah, but if you are in peril and you realize that, hey, this is something I can't control. This is out of my control.
Yeah.
I am, or this situation is not uncontrollable, or it's an attack from someone you don't know and they're assaulting you and you don't have the physical ability. Say if you're someone who's 4 foot something and someone 6 something is attacking you. Either way, you have the right to defend yourself, period. That guy against the small guy. But logically, whenever it gets broken down into court after the shooting,
sure,
after the situation happens, then that's when litigation is going to tear you apart. Could you have got out of the situation? Was there something you could have done otherwise? And it better be very close engagement unless it's some maniac that's doing harm to people from a distance, and God help you and make your shots true. And
sure,
yeah. Because unfortunately we do live in that society too,
litigious society,
where you could be in a mass shooting situation.
Just out of curiosity, it's like, what law enforcement agencies did you work for?
One.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Texas founded. It was Texas Investigative and Protective Services.
Okay.
Most of what I ever did was narcotics, anti-gang terrorism, raids, busts.
You had alluded earlier to Texas being in trouble.
Yeah.
Can we go there? Can
yes,
we go there?
Yes, we can.
Can we ask?
We can.
Is this involving narcotics?
No, this is involving
gangs?
super massive, terrible corruption. And hey, to each their own. I'm an American. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in all the people who have shed their last blood and given up the ultimate price in order so that we can have those liberties and truths. And by God, I'm disgusted that they're disappearing radically before our eyes. Well, here's a bad prediction. Now, be it whatever side of the fence people are on out there and you guys, me personally, my opinion, governed by the Constitution, we're in a post-communist coup right now. We're in a post-communist coup right now. Election fraud happened, in my opinion, and we are in a result of being ran by complete tyrannical devils. But I do absolutely mean that. 100% devils. Now, in that, there's another one down here that's campaigning, and his name is Beto. And he is a firm, hardcore, as y'all well witnessed, anti-constitutionalist, and anti-Second Amendment. Well, he's running for the governor, kind of quietly. Well, if you believe that Joe Biden got more votes than any president in the whole history of our nation, well, don't be shocked if you have him as our governor this next go-round. And if that takes place, it's going to get serious.
Yeah, your world will change.
Or your world will change. Your world will change.
Yeah,
everybody's world will change.
There's no doubt about that.
Because
when he comes after guns,
Texas is the last bastion of freedom, in our country. The rest of our country looks up to Texas for being a stand-up of liberty, and stuff like that for the most part.
See, I don't see it that
wild
way.
Open range.
I don't see it that way.
Yeah.
I think right now we've spent a lot of time looking at Florida going, man, we should have done that.
Well, Florida.
And a lot of the country does not look at Texas in this way. You get outside of the South, they do not.
Yeah.
They really don't look at Texas as highly as what we'd like to think of ourselves as.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, to me, I keep reading stories about Florida, and I'm just like, man, why is Texas always showing up late to the game?
Mm.
Well, Texas has been late to the game from everything. If you
I
really
understand, but why? There's no good reason.
Well, part of it is, here's the reason. Our legislature only meets every 2 years for 140 days. Texas is more broad than you care to think about as far as politically.
No, there's no doubt.
Yeah, the entire setup for the state of Texas is completely different. It is the most different setup legislature, with the exception of Nebraska, in the entire United States.
I would think Louisiana would be in there somewhere.
Louisiana is, but who cares about Louisiana? When my brother was in law school, as I've said this previously,
Sure.
When my brother was in law school, they would say, this is the law in all 50 states.
Except
Louisiana.
Yeah.
But no, Texas is so broadly different politically, and I don't think y'all quite understand how broadly
we're losing
different.
ground.
Well,
Is what's happening.
Part of it is this.
we're being urbanized is what's happening.
We're fixing to be an urban state if we're not already.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. It's about to happen,
And
in my
it's
opinion.
everybody lives from San Antonio to Dallas on I-35 now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There are 10 counties in Texas who have the majority of the population, and there are 254. 10 has the most. There's some in Beaumont, there's some in Harris. But outside of that, everybody in the state lives San Antonio to Dallas.
Yeah.
Those are the people you have to work
Sure.
for. The other group, and people have ignored this, and people don't quite understand this, and the Republican Party does not understand this.
Well, I don't believe that they're all right either.
But I don't either. I'm not a big, I don't trust.
I'm a constitutionalist libertarian,
but
I'm a Republican by party.
Well, I voted Libertarian last time. Anyway, the Republican Party has got to do something, and they have got to appeal to the Latino community, because we're fixing to be majority Latino. Say what you want to, they're here.
Yeah.
They're
No doubt.
here. And they have traditionally...
The American replacements.
They have traditionally... Well, they thought the same thing about the Irish in the 1840s.
Yeah.
So don't go there because I'm Irish.
Yeah, oh, me too.
Yeah, so anyway, we have to do something to appeal to the Hispanic community. And it's just not being done.
I don't see it like that either. So my
What do you say? What do you say?
My thought is this.
We're done? We're through?
No. Here's what I see. If you walk outside this door right now,
Right.
and you go to 10 Hispanic homes in this community, the number one objective of those homes is to work like a dog.
And that's
And
the Republican Party should appeal to that.
There's no doubt, but who? I mean,
But- and
in
they're
the
not.
state of Texas, who is pushing more jobs? The Democrats or the
The
Republicans?
Republican Party should be.
So
But
to
they
me,
don't
I
see
see-
it. But they don't see it as that.
Who don't?
The Hispanic community. They don't see it as
When
that.
you need a job.
They're being told, however, within the Hispanic community that, yeah, the Republicans are giving you a job, but down the road, they're not. And that's
Yeah,
what they're telling them.
to me,
what they're telling them.
Well, it may be what they're telling them. All I know is this, to me, the hardest working group of people on the planet that I have ever met.
I've got to agree.
Has been the Hispanics.
Is the Latino community.
Is the Latino community throughout.
I've got to agree.
And so to me, I'm sitting here going, okay, well, if Republicans are providing jobs, and oil and gas jobs are no joke.
All right.
Infrastructure jobs are no joke. All falls right into the lap of what you see.
But they have not appealed to them, Jay.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Do you feel like Beto's appealing to them?
Hey, well,
Honestly.
They're following. Here's the deal. They are following what Mom, Dad, Grandma, great-grandpa did.
Yeah.
And the Republican Party needs to change that.
Well, and that may
And
be
they don't
so.
see it as so. They don't. And the Republican Party does not understand it. Instead, they'd rather say, "Oh, these Mexicans are bad."
Yeah.
Instead,
Well,
they need to say, "Hey, y'all need to come in with us. We understand your plight. We understand you."
Right.
But they haven't.
Yeah, I think this. I think I've met a number of Hispanic guys in the fields that I've worked in the past.
Right.
And it almost seems like, especially among the older male population,
Right.
and I say older male, I'm talking 30 and above. And, I mean, because
To
you
me, that's
have,
young.
because you have
'Cause I'm 100.
a large
'Cause I'm 100, yeah.
but you have a large influx of real young Hispanic guys into the workforce,
Right.
And but what I've noticed is you've got some of the older group that has really kind of considered, hey, who's actually bringing jobs to the table? Because that's all we want to do. We want to go work, we want to go home, and we want to have fun, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I mean, to me, I'm sitting here going, if Texas is not taking full advantage. If the Texas Republicans are not taking full advantage,
they're not.
then to me, they're missing a great
And
opportunity.
I've been saying this for 20 years.
Yeah.
I've been saying this for 20 years. But you look in South Texas,
Yeah.
and South Texas is pushed by oil and gas. They still vote Democratic.
See, and to me, the way I look at it is, if you start looking at these microcosms, or not microcosms, but if you start looking at these cities like Houston, San Antonio, Austin, Fort Worth, and Dallas, those are when I was working in Colorado, they had Boulder and Denver outvoted the rest of the state.
Yeah.
And they ended up with their Democrat, homosexual governor, right?
Is he gay?
A lot.
So it's
Yes,
better.
Either he is or he isn't.
So the thing,
yeah,
it's
he
a
is.
lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Beto
so, I
kissed
mean,
his boyfriend on stage at a presidential election rally.
yeah, I hadn't seen
National-
that.
national
But
television.
my point
once
is,
again,
it
I'm
doesn't
libertarian.
matter.
I don't care.
It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
I don't care. Whatever
It
trips
doesn't
your
matter.
trigger.
But
Yeah.
my point is, they leaned so hard Democrat that the rest of the state, there's a big portion of Colorado that is conservative.
Sure.
And so sitting out there in the
But nobody
fields-
lives there.
But
that's the problem.
But that's my point.
Yeah.
This is a population thing. So
You see, what you're missing in this is the politics at hand. All right, it's not just Republican and Democrat. What it is it's the manipulative ploys that are engineered into that to get that demographic on their side.
sure, I get that.
And so that
All I'm
That's
saying
true
is,
there.
all I'm saying is-
who are you going to turn away if they're sitting right here saying, everybody else has to jump through hoops to get license and everything like that, but here you go. Here you go.
Sure.
Well, of course you're going to vote Democrat for your whole life, and your family's going to vote Democrat. They're going to vote Democrat. Now, to each their own. I mean, Democrat, Republican, whatever. My thing is that I think that everybody needs to realize that we're all being gamed. I don't
100%.
care
Sure.
who you think you are, what side of the fence you think you're on.
Yeah.
We are all being gamed. White, black, Hispanic, Asian, whatever. We are all in this together, and we need to start coming together as Americans again, as people together, and stop letting all this division through the media spark all this stuff.
Sure.
Because there again, in my own personal opinion, the ones that are in power right now, well, if you're anybody that really keeps up on those things, they do a lot of really, 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 really bad things to people.
Yeah.
Really, really bad things to people.
Let's get back on the subject if that's all right. We can get on this.
Yeah,
Let's talk about home security.
Yes,
let's talk about home security. A little bit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I am right with you, brother.
Let's talk about home security here because
home security. Okay, a couple of misnomers. Okay, for one misnomer, to each their own. Whatever firearm it is that you would need to be able to have. For one, locked doors, locked windows, security system. Doop, there you go. That's one thing. Okay. Anything like the motion sensor outside of your front door, ring cameras or whatever these days. A bunch of different ones on the market. To where you can be notified if there's someone within the perimeter outside of your house. Which you've been to my house and shopping, they're everywhere and they go off all the time. But it's just there again, situational awareness before you're in that situation. If you can have any little heads up before that time happens, pay attention to the dog barking, unless it's somebody who has a stupid dog that barks all night long. Which I can't stand those people.
Sure.
Go out there and those people need to be slapped. But anyway, but if the dog is barking erratically,
right?
Think about that. Get up, look around. If you hear something, look outside. Don't go outside looking for it with your shotgun, your boomstick, or your AR-15. Are you on my property? Not like that. Hey, your stuff is stuff. If you go out there and you have to engage on somebody because you see them breaking in your vehicle. Yes, by legality, you are protected somewhat. But let me tell you, you're gonna get burned up. They're gonna prosecute you, and much less the litigation, civil litigation after the fact is where they're gonna tear you up. They'll take everything you own. Also, if you're gonna be someone who's running around carrying a firearm for defense, you should carry insurance, USCCA or American Law Shield or whatever. Because if you are in the litigation aspect, the civil litigation, if you make it past the situation of having to use deadly force, if you make it through that, then what's coming right along behind that and during is the civil. Okay, and the civil is where they will ruin you, they will crush you, they will take. And don't have a firearm that says you're next on it, or smile, wait for the flash, or you're F-worded, on it, because then that gun, if you use your heads up, people, if you use your firearm in a self-defense scenario with deadly force, it is going to be confiscated from you, taken. And it is going to go to the Texas Rangers for ballistics and forensics and study. See what all has been done to that gun. Is it a race gun? Has it been tricked out? Does it have like that kind of stuff on it?
Yeah.
And so all these things are going to come back in the report. Then whenever that representation of whoever you had to engage on are suing you civilly after the fact, they're going to be like, well, you were bloodthirsty. You were just waiting for it. You just wanted to kill somebody. You're a menace to society. You weren't defending your home.
Sure.
And guess what? Boop, your home and everything goes away. Now, if you have defense, litigation, it can stand up for you with American Law Shield, USCCA, a bunch of different ones out there, which there's a whole bunch of them. So with those, okay, if you are in that situation and it's defensive scenario period, whether it be a rock, baseball bat, kitchen knife, whatever, okay, you are covered under use of force, in a defensive scenario, okay? And so that little, about like $150 a year you're going to spend for that insurance, or it could be more depending on what one you end up getting, policy you get. It's going to be well worth it when you're talking about thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of litigation taking place.
Sure.
Those lawyers, whenever you call that night, is like a bat phone. They got that line right there. That lawyer on duty answers that phone and talks to you.
Sure.
At that scene. Because the time when you call someplace like that is at the scene before law enforcement actually shows up.
Okay.
So you're calling, talking to them, telling them what happened, blah, blah, this is what's happening. They're going to tell you the same thing. If you are in a defensive situation like that, you want to be the person that is unarmed at that point if everything is secured. You want to try to have rendered aid, or whenever you call law enforcement, tell them, hey, send 911, send an ambulance, So, so in that, the process is going to go through there. Then you're going to, if you're in that situation, they're going to come and meet with you ASAP. They're going to tell you, hey, Fifth Amendment, other than what you need to say. And then from that, you're going to go to, you're going to be arrested, probably, or at least taken in for questioning. And then you're going to go through the process of all that. And then they're going to come and represent you. And with you have the insurance like that, for any kind of use of force, that you have to use, that insurance, those lawyers, you don't pay any of that litigation expense anymore. That is on them now. And they represent you from start to finish.
So the first two things you would say is a gun and insurance for home defense.
Yep, for sure. And then again, also home defense. We got like 10 minutes. Okay, there's a lot of stuff to cover. We could talk a long time on this stuff.
Sure.
And come back if you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Because people might talk about this, and then we can touch base and set it up.
But say just closing out the show. I mean, say top three things: a gun, and what other two things would you say
for your EDC on your body?
No, for your home security.
For your home security.
If you
always keeping your cell phone or landline phone handy, to where you know where it is, or to where you can get to it. Then medical and first aid kit. Everybody. I don't care who you are. If you've got kids, you need an IFAC. An infantry first aid kit, or individual first aid kit. You need some kind of kit that you can help save somebody with. I also do advice on all that stuff. I build those out for folks. I give advice on things you should have, because there's certain things you should have in one of those. Because who's to say that in that scenario you didn't completely come out unscathed?
Sure, right.
You've been beaten or stabbed or shot yourself. And you need to do some immediate care on yourself if you do have that situation covered.
Right.
You're going to need to get to your phone immediately. Have your phone pretty much by your firearm or wherever that your phone always is. Keep your phone in one place all the time. If you have a cell phone, put it in the same spot every night. Mm-hmm. That way you know where it is. Even in the dark, you can get to it. Yeah. That goes for house fire or anything, Make sure you can get to it. If you hear that noise pre-coming, get up and prepare yourself. In your home, layout is essential. Where are your other loved ones in your home? Where are they located? Where are their beds?
Right.
Bullets don't stop in drywall.
Right.
And if you're arming yourself...
So what do you recommend for inside the house, say?
Well, I would say
a shotgun with 7.5 shot, or...
Now, here be the thing.
Because I wouldn't want to shoot buckshot in the house.
Here be the thing. Another big misnomer. Shotguns are not the do-all tool for self-defense. All you got to do is just point it down the hallway anywhere and pull the trigger and you got them. Wrong answer. That is incorrect.
Right.
That is incorrect. A shotgun at any tactical engagement distance, self-defense scenario, whatever, you're only going to be within your home's boundaries, think about that. 5 feet? Up to like maybe 20, 30 feet?
Sure.
50, 60 if you're a rich person, and in that point, you don't need to be firing on them unless you see they got a weapon or they're going after one of your loved ones or something.
Right.
If they're just taking stuff, you give them commands to get out of your house or whatever. But if they're not armed and you just smoke them, well, there you're getting into maybe more litigation. Although we have castle doctrine.
Right.
There's a lot goes on after
still a lot
shooting.
More headache.
Yeah, and finance. Shotgun is not the be-all, do-all. And if it is, not your granddaddy's bird gun that's half a mile long. Here's the thing. When you shoot any shotgun, your wad in your charge, okay, going out there and your shot, whenever it's going down, and you've seen you guys been out shooting shotgun, and you see you can actually see your wadding parachute off the back, of it like that. Well, whenever it catches air, it parachutes off the back and then allows your shot to go and expand. Okay, folks, shot moves out and expands as it goes out. All right, but that don't happen until a good distance. If you're shooting in your home self-defense scenario, your round is going to be about the size of a quarter to a 50-cent piece still, period. Unless you're running like an 18.5-inch barrel,
right,
or you're running like some legal small shotgun.
Right.
Definitely don't have anything illegal.
A 410 pistol.
Yeah, okay, a judge.
Yeah,
a judge, yeah. No, I'm talking about like, don't whack off a gun and have it in your house.
Yeah.
Defend yourself with it. You're an idiot, for one, for doing that. You're an idiot, two, for using it.
And you won't do those if they can't bring them to you.
Hell no. That ain't going to convert anything to a machine gun.
Sure,
not going to make you a Texas-made suppressor. Not going to, no. That's right. All, nope. Legitimate, real gunsmithing. Not doing anything.
All right. So let's do this. Let's just do a kind of a quick round. All right. Quick round.
Yeah.
And that's the first answer that comes to your mind.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I like these things.
What is your go-to pistol?
This one on my side, which is a Glock 32, and it's a chambered in .357 SIG.
Okay.
Reason why? Glock. It's awesome.
You got one?
No, he's an FM guy.
You got a question?
I'm an FM guy. I'm also a CZ guy.
Oh, a CZ guy.
I'm also a
CZ guy. That's right. CZ's also.
So, shotgun in the home.
Yeah, shotgun in the home.
So what do you use in the home?
Yeah.
What do I use in the home? I use either, well, there's a bunch. They're like Easter eggs. Yeah.
But your go-to?
Yeah, go-to is going to be this guy right here. Pistol. Reason why? Because if you're still shooting and you got to be accurate, I don't care if you're aiming with a shotgun, you still have to be accurate regardless of what people tell you or whatever. You're going to be in a target less than 5 feet. That wadding is going to be inside of the target. You're going to be hitting them with a slug. All right? Hitting it with a slug. All right? So in that, if you're going to run a shotgun, get a self-defense shotgun, one that's already engineered for it, and it has the patterning for it and all that stuff. Get you like an 18, and 3/4 inch, 18.5-inch barrel. If you want to arm your home with an AR-15, I do also have an AR right there that's ready to go. But just for maneuverability, keeping the firearm, if you go Charlie's Angels around in your like this, looking for an invader in your house at night, well, odds are they're probably going to see you come around the corner before you get there, and if you don't have any tactics, and whoop, hit you right in the arms, and you're going to drop your gun, and they're probably going to get it, and then bad. So you're going to want to be in a standoff. You're not going to want to be just charging, running in there. You're going to want to have a defensive scenario, a plan in your mind. If you hear that, oh, crap scenario, your door just got kicked in, your alarm's going off, well, you already need to, in your mind, already have that going.
You already have the plan ready.
Already have that plan going. In that, you need to know where everybody is in your home. You don't want to fire towards your kids' bedroom when you know that they're sleeping on that wall right on the other side of that.
Sure. Because
if you don't hit them, that intended evildoer, then you might have just shot your children or your grandmother or your husband or what. Make sure that it is not your kid doing something stupid. Make sure it's not someone coming home late at night before you do something stupid. Identify your target before you start wailing rounds in there.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Not on the Payroll. We appreciate Jamey Spears of Spears Tactical coming in. If you want to touch base with him, because he can pretty much handle anything as it pertains to weaponry, guns specifically.
And self-defense.
Gunsmithing, self-defense, the whole 9 yards. He can help you with a plan. He can also help you, help you with some advice if you got some questions on some guns or something along those lines, or if you need some guns worked on, he's got you hooked up as well. Spears Tactical over in Newton, Texas. Spears Tactical at 379 5678. That's 379-5678. Jamey, I appreciate you coming in, man.
Thank you, man. I've been wanting to get in here. It's been a couple of weeks.
No, that's no problem. And we'll plan on having you back here in a couple of weeks or so.
Sounds good.
And we can sit down and kind of dig in a little bit more on how to like take a person from nothing.
Yes.
Like they have no kind of idea about a plan or anything like that. We could kind of move into more home defense type of things.
And honestly, that would be a great thing because to me, okay, folks, everybody, the first thing of any firearm, period, end of sentence, is safety, 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 safety.
Sure.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Safety, 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 man.
Absolutely.
Know what you're doing, be capable, understand your firearm.
There you go. Sounds good, man. Jamey, appreciate your time.
10-4.
Thank you.
You guys have a good.
All right.
Thank you, Open World.
Absolutely. Guys, we'll get back in just 1 second here. Just hold tight. We're going to walk Jamey out, and I'll be right back. Matter of fact, you can tell them about our sponsors if you want.
Yes, our sponsors, once again. And we appreciate our sponsors here, folks. And if you, for all your glass needs, ladies and gentlemen, Stewart Glass right here in Jasper, Texas. We couldn't be doing this show without Stewart Glass. Also, Lake City Pawn. Once again, for those of you who know me, know that I am a gun nut. And at some point, I have got to go in, but I'm a bit paranoid to go into Lake City Pawn for fear that I will walk out with more guns than I know what to do with. And I can just about imagine what it would be like when I got home with a stack of guns again. So, once again, we appreciate Stewart Glass. We appreciate Lake City Firearm, our sponsors here on Not on the Payroll. Coming up next, we're going to be talking a little bit about Bunham. Specifically, we'll be talking about the Cristi Ruso situation. We will also be talking a little bit about, let's see, what is on our agenda tonight? Let me look and see. Before I lie to you, what we're doing here.
Man, oh man. Did you learn anything?
A little bit.
A little bit?
A little bit.
A little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, about to kick this second hour off. This is the first time we've done 2 hours.
I think so. I know so. Even when we were doing the old show back in the Stone Ages.
Yeah. So, how was your week, man?
Once again, as I said, I got up this morning in just one of those Thomas moods, and it runs in the genetic pattern apparently in the Thomas side of the family, where you just get up in just a surly mood, and there's no explanation whatsoever for it.
What do you normally do for that?
You just have to live through it.
You just ride it out.
You just live through it.
You just ride it out.
Ride it out. You avoid people, and that way you don't say anything that you'll regret later.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well. So I try to self-medicate on some level.
I bet you do.
If I normally get to that
I
point.
bet you do.
Do you drink at all?
No.
You don't drink at all?
No.
So you're a teetotaler?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that out there, that Thomas was not a drinker? I figured with everybody you dealt with, you
had to.
You would drink.
I'm on the CBD, and I'm good to go.
You're on the CBD?
I'm on the CBD and good to go.
Does it really help you?
It does.
It does.
It does. I'm also on some other medications that precludes me from drinking alcohol.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
That sucks.
So,
man.
yeah.
That's horrible.
So, I'm on some medications that,
So if they legalize weed, would you begin?
You betcha.
100%.
All day.
All day.
All day, every day.
Honest to God, I'm such a fan that I would have to.
420 yesterday, I started to call you, but I figured you'd know what was going on.
Well, it's my dad's birthday. It's also Adolf Hitler's birthday.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you're referring to, but yeah. No, I'm such a fan. I might start growing some dreads out. You never know. But ladies and gentlemen, this is hour 2. Hey, if you would go out there, like, share, and subscribe if you like what we're doing here. We're going to keep coming at you each and every week, 7 o'clock. And, we got all kinds of stuff we want to talk about. I got an opportunity to sit down with a city council person today, this week.
Oh,
Yeah, and so Jasper,
can you mention names or
Jasper City Council? I met with.
So we're going to go nameless with the council person.
No, I'm actually. I met
name
with,
names.
with Laura Golden.
Oh, okay.
I met with Laura and her husband Andy. Met for probably 2.5 or 3 hours.
Get out of here.
Was
it a nice visit, or
did
we get ugly at any time?
Never
or
got
did
ugly.
they say get out? Or?
The thing is
they did say get out.
We met on the front porch, so I didn't have to get out anywhere.
Okay. At their house or
At
your
their
house? Or?
Yes. And it was by their invite. I had been trying to get an interview with Miss Golden to really talk to her about her her actually running for re-election.
Right.
And so, the thing is this, man. We have a little bit of a reputation out here. And so, I was kind of showing up to hopefully dispel some of the concerns or fears or whatever the case are. And so we sat down. We started out talking about, I'm not going to go into everything that we talked about, but I will just say this. Her and her husband, both lovely people, have a long history here in the Jasper area. Matter of fact, we talked a bunch of genealogy stuff and things of that
Did you
nature.
drag up relatives here, or
yeah, actually,
really,
we started talking about some of the people that they were kin to, and we don't know if we're kin, but I mean it's all East Texas, so everybody's kind of kin.
Yeah, it's a kind.
But at the same time, lovely people. Sat down and talked shop there for 2.5 or 3 hours. And we talked about broadband, some of the questions or concerns that I had, that type of thing. It doesn't look like we're actually going to do an interview. Some people are not what do you call it? Some people are not as easy to get on in a recorded type of deal, and that's fine.
But,
it's all good.
They're a person in the public eye here. When you become a public figure, you kind of need especially if you're a politician, you need to kind of talk to the media here.
That's one of the things,
or at least us.
That's one of the things I did not get from her.
Okay,
is that she's a politician. I did not pick that up from her. It's politician in the standard sense.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
She may hold an office, but she's not. She's not. It's not like she has.
She's not political.
She's not political.
Okay.
But one of the things I thought was very interesting was her love and appreciation for Jasper. That really came through the whole conversation, and I think, because she works at a law firm.
Okay.
I don't know what all she does, what all she's involved in. But
is she an attorney, or?
I don't think she's an attorney.
Okay.
But she's worked for a law firm for a number of years.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, it was a great conversation. It was great to kind of hear some of her perspective, and vice versa. We all three talked for a while, and I just felt like it was a good conversation. It was a good first meeting.
Okay.
I don't really, like I say, I don't want to go into all the details of what we talked about, but I do feel like this. One of the things that I kind of came away with was this. Even though maybe you're at odds with somebody, or maybe you have a different opinion than somebody in the community, it doesn't make those people evil. One of the problems with current political situation,
that's kind of our problem in it.
Everything's
That's
polarized.
now, isn't it?
Everything's polarized. Everything's you're Jesus and so-and-so's the devil. You know what I'm saying? And
that's the truth.
And unfortunately, what that does is we don't get an opportunity to sit down and to just communicate and try to talk things out, because, she sat there and we walked through some of the different things that, I've said, and some of the different things that we've brought up on the show and things like that. But at the same time, we have got to take back and this was one of the things that I walked away with. She made a statement about returning back to civility. And I think that is the truth.
It's been that way.
I think that, but it's almost like since the advent of social media and how the algorithms have, I hate to take away public responsibility, but the algorithms have been kind of leading us into echo chambers.
Sure.
And so if we look at this thing and if we all say, okay, listen, I disagree with this person, but I'm willing to hear them out and walk away from the table and not hate them after this conversation is over. Our heart is to see a better community.
Years ago, this is kind of in the same vein. Years ago, you're younger than this, and you may have seen this and may not. Before we all had a satellite dish hanging on, we all had cable TV.
Sure.
And the invention of Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, originally they were news shows.
Yeah.
Originally they news. Now they had a conservative bent, a liberal bent, a moderate bent. But they were news shows.
Right.
But no longer.
Right.
And within the last 20 years, Jay, they have all become, we may do news for about 15 minutes, but the next 45 minutes, we're going to have opinion. And it's going to be right wing, left wing, some other wing.
Yeah, the sky is falling and the ground is burning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Today.
And I mean, but what's crazy about that is
today,
this.
not tomorrow, today.
It almost seems like since the advent of CNN took us away because honestly, back in the day, whenever you would listen to news anchors, sometimes you could kind of pick off where they were leaning. Sometimes. But for the most part, those things were held private until they were retiring and they decided, this is my last speech, I'm going out with a bang.
The only time we knew about Cronkite was when, and this is not bad really, was when he spoke out against the Vietnam War. But at that point in time, conservatives, liberals, people in the middle were going, we ain't winning this. We need to come home.
The real question is
this. We got 58 million people killed here, and we ain't doing no good.
How old were you during the Vietnam War?
When it ended, I was a sophomore in high school.
Were you for it or against it at the time?
By that time, I was dead set against it because I didn't want to go to Vietnam.
Okay.
I saw no reason to go.
Sure. Okay. So now looking at it, how do you feel about it?
I'm dead set against it because what did we do there?
Yeah.
Nothing. We killed 58 million people.
Yeah. Gulf of Tonkin.
Yeah. Blew up my wife's father. He was severely injured in Vietnam.
Really?
Are you familiar with Apocalypse Now?
Yeah.
Yeah, the boats. Mm-hmm. He was on one of those and got hit by a missile.
Wow.
Got hit by a rocket.
Wow.
Yeah, and was severely injured.
Wow. So I don't know. I think when they went from news, we're reporting the news, breaking news, and those types of things. When it went from that to 24-hour news cycle, now we're talking about the butterfly that could and the puppy that was born down on 4th Street.
Yeah, that's truth.
And so then we have to build it up from there to hold ratings. It's kind of like this. I heard somebody say.
And it's all to scare the bejeebers out of everybody.
I would say it even goes a little bit further than that, though, if you think about it. To me, I'm sitting here looking at this thing, and they always say follow two things. You follow the money and follow something else. But you follow the money first of all.
Yeah.
And so to me, if you have a 24-hour news cycle and you're sitting here talking about the butterfly that could, nobody is tuning into that mess. Nobody wants to hear the poem from the blue hair down on the south corner of whatever.
4th Street.
Yeah, or down here at the Baptist Church.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear that on a 24-hour news cycle is my point. So they start sensationalizing this stuff so that they can continue to sell advertisement to support that thing. And so now you have, it's blown up from there to where now I can sit here on my phone and I can watch Johnny Depp talk about Amber Heard slapping him in the face and beating up on him.
I was flipping through YouTube, and that was one of the live choices.
What is happening?
That was one of the live choices today on YouTube.
And to me, I'm thinking, okay, this is captivating. It's captivating to sit here.
Jay, it had 250,000.
I know.
250,000 views at the time.
Here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. When they start having live shows, when they start having live shows or like live broadcasts of people in court and things like that, or this one slaps that one, you need to be looking through the news to try to figure out what the heck's going on, because some of this is just cover. It's just cover. So anyway, last thing I want to say,
there's news going on.
Yeah, well,
yeah, think about it. Think about it. Local news, and we're not talking about here on this station.
No.
This station does a pretty good job of the news. We're talking about the
national, global.
We're talking about national, global.
And please don't look at Hunter Biden's laptop.
Yeah.
With all the children stuff on it.
Or worse yet, it has bled over into sports.
Yeah.
And all of sports now is nothing but politics.
Politics, yep.
You know, it's politics.
So going back to this, the last thing I'll say is that I had a great sit down with Miss Laura Golden and Mr. Andy, and they were great hosts, and I enjoyed my conversation with them, and I really appreciate them doing that. But I do think the thing that I stepped away from it with was specifically the word about all of us returning back to civility. Because if we don't do that, we get what we got. We're going to set up these little echo chambers of friends and people around the area where we actually, we hang out with people who believe and think and agree with everything that we want to think and agree.
That's true.
Well, what happens at the end of the day is this. How do you grow if all that you're talking, your network around you is just vomiting back your own ideals? How do we grow? You don't. And I think that's where we're at, because no one will sit down and communicate and talk. So having said that, I do have some interesting information specific to broadband. Now, none of this came out of my conversation with Ms. Golden, but I do have some information about broadband. I found out this week, and I'm talking specifically for the people here in Jasper County, that there is the FCC has given Charter Spectrum a grant in the amount of close to $14 million, okay, for Jasper, Texas. Now, let me make sure I get my detail right. But I talked to Judge Mark Allen here in Jasper, and he made this very clear. He said the plan is that Charter Spectrum is going to put in fiber optics. They're going to put in fiber services for Jasper County, and it's going to be 70% of the county. So basically, they're looking at the county, seeing who has fiber and who doesn't have fiber. Okay. They're looking at the county to see who has fiber and who doesn't. And their approach is going to be, for those who have fiber, they're obviously not going to be putting fiber in. But they're going to be putting in 70% of the county is going to be covered with fiber. That's a 1 gig up and I think a 1 gig down with Charter Spectrum. And that's already in the works. That's a done deal. And so we're not talking about an infrastructure deal. We're not talking about who's managing the infrastructure or who's managing the service. We're not talking about none of that. Charter Spectrum is going to be handling the whole kit and caboodle.
Whole kit and caboodle, yeah.
Whole thing. Whereas right here in Jasper, I think it's $16 million, and that's the infrastructure. Basically,
and that's for Jasper alone, isn't it?
That's just Jasper proper, and nobody realizes how small Jasper proper is. If you get a chance, go look at the city. Just pull it up on Google.
Pull up a Jasper County map
and look at
the city of Jasper. Look at all the major communities. They're not that big. Jasper is a rural county.
And what's crazy is everybody talks about Jasper dying. I hear that so much around this place.
Well, it is losing population.
Jasper proper is losing population.
The county is too.
But Jasper, I'm sitting here going, okay, Jasper proper is losing.
And that could be the county.
Well,
that could be the county part.
It could be. It could very well be. Maybe they're all moving down to Houston and San Antonio.
Moving to Buena.
Yeah, I doubt that. But I will say this, I did find it interesting. That Charter Spectrum already has a grant from the FCC to put in broadband fiber throughout the county. And my question is, why is the city not talking to those guys?
Yeah, that's a good question.
What's happening here? So, having said that, that's my little rant on the city of Jasper and what all is going on there. Talk to me about what you're hearing on this Cristi Ruso thing.
Well, I understand that next Thursday evening they're going to have a prayer vigil for Cristi. It will be next Thursday at 8:15 at the rodeo arena there in Buna. And for those of you who do not know where the rodeo arena, or whatever they call it, the Buna bridal.
They don't have wedding dresses there.
No,
it's a bridal like for a
is
horse.
for horses. It is off County Road 726. For those of you who do not know, that is the road that runs by the railroad there. It goes across Highway 62.
Yeah.
You just turn there on the road that's there by the railroad. It goes east. Just follow it, and it will go in front of the rodeo arena. I'll just call it a rodeo arena because
Yeah.
that's what I've always called it.
Just stop where
Yeah.
all the vehicles are.
Exactly. Look for the lights.
Sure.
Because it'll be dark. And my understanding it is 8:15 next Thursday, the 28th of April. And you heard some information on Cristi that I had not heard before.
So there is a lot of information going on and being shared right now. And here are the plug lines. Here's what I'll say.
Okay. Go ahead.
So
is this from a reliable source, or is this?
This is from a source who's directly in the know, who is not law enforcement.
Okay.
The word is that there's videos going around of what happened. First of all, the second thing is that there was a beating that took place where she was the victim of. The third thing, now I can't substantiate any of this. This is just coming from our source. Word has been said that she was tied to a tree.
Good grief.
Word said that she was burned.
Good grief.
And buried. Now, I'll be honest with you. I was given a name.
Right.
Of who was supposed to have been involved on some level. I don't know this individual. I'm not throwing that name. I'm not throwing that name
I do,
out.
and I've also heard names, and I know these individuals also, but I'm not going to repeat it.
Yeah,
because we can't verify one way or the other.
No way.
And we're not going to bring these people because they may be totally innocent.
Here's the thing. There is someone out there. There is a group of people out there who know what happened. There's a group of people out there who know what happened. And they know exactly where she's buried.
Right.
I was informed that it was close to a creek. I was even given the name of the creek. But at the same time, once again, a creek has a beginning and an end.
And an end, yeah.
And so at this point, I would say it is a recovery effort. It is not a rescue or anything like that. It would be a recovery type of thing. But I'll be honest with you, there are some different groups in the region who are supposedly at the bottom of some of this.
Yeah.
And my thing is, fear is controlling this whole thing.
Yeah, I have a source, and we'll just call them a source. We won't go any further than that. Who are told me that there are groups and involved, and we're going to say plural groups involved in this situation, and we're not going to name names. We're not even going to name the names of the groups. They may not, but I have a suspicion that possibly they are involved. I've also been told, whether this is true or not, I don't know, that law enforcement knows about these groups. But once again, they don't have any hard evidence They don't have any hard evidence to bring in here for this.
Until they find the body,
Yeah.
that's the first step in this deal.
Right. And part of it, folks, y'all need to bring her home. Seriously, y'all need to bring her home. It's time. The family suffered enough. They need some kind of closure.
Somebody needs to call in, and they need to call the sheriff or call us. You can call us at 384-2626 if you want to call us to chat with us about it. I think this is not only, to me, man.
Or heck, call my cell phone. Most of Buna has my cell number. Call me and I'll talk to you.
Yeah,
I'm not going to give it out here on the deal, but everybody in Buna pretty much has my number. Everybody and their brother calls me every time, even though I've tried to keep it secret. But everybody knows it. Call me if you know something.
If you know something where we can get this girl laid to rest, get her family settled out, and bring an end to this thing. Because here's the thing. People who are operating in fear right now because of exposure or whatever the case is, man, we've got to get you on. We got to get you in a conversation with Sheriff Newman and what's going on here with the Jasper Sheriff's Department. We need to get you some protection in the process, and so you need to. I would really, really, really encourage you to find a safe place and then make a contact, because enough's enough. We're having prayer vigils. They're still raising money. All of this stuff is going on, and there's a group of people in Buna, sitting down there in Buna, who knows exactly what's going on.
What is the reward up to now? Do you know?
$71.50 is what I was told.
$71.50. Okay.
I think so. So $71.50. And here's the thing: it's not even about a reward at this point, man. It's just get her buried properly. Okay. To me, it's a shame that we are dealing with this high level of fear and maybe even some cowardice in the process. And so if you're out there and you've listened or you know what's going on or you've seen what's going on, man, you've got to make the phone call. Call Carrie or call us, 384-2626, or call up to the Sheriff's Department and talk to them. I don't care what all's involved. I don't care who all's involved. I don't care what all's been said. This is someone's little girl, and it is only right that we make the effort. It's only right.
Right.
And so I don't know. We also have somebody else we've got somebody else. Matt Witt is
not well.
He's not doing well. He's a graduate from Buna down there. Thoughts and prayers go out to him. He's on dialysis and dealing with a lot of things right now. Man, you sent me a message earlier, or whenever we were chatting about what we were going to talk about, and you said something about enjoying life.
Jay, I'm getting to the point where I'm towards the end. Say what you want to, I am. I've turned 65 in August, and hey, look, enjoy every day you got. Enjoy every day you got. I know we get up and we're gripey and we're unhappy about what we've got to do today, but you know something? We get just so many days. As a friend of mine used to always say, you get just so many Christmases. Enjoy every one of them. And he literally meant enjoy every day you get. Because every day you get up and say good morning is just like Christmas.
So tell me this. So you turned 65. I'm 45, so I'm about 20 years behind you.
Just a kid.
Yeah,
just a kid.
What would you tell your 45-year-old self?
I would tell my 45-year-old self, hang on, it gets better.
Really?
Yes, sir. It gets better, believe it or not. The last 10 years of my life have been the best 10 years of my life.
And you've been retired?
I've been retired for 10 years. You laugh, but it's true. It's true. Jay, the last 5 years I taught school, and and I didn't intend to first get off on this horse. The last 5 years I taught school, I was sitting there going, how am I going to make it the next 5 years?
Yeah.
Literally sat there going, how am I going to make it the next 5 years without either me dying or me killing somebody in this classroom?
So tell me this, because we didn't have this when when I was in school, the cuss porch. We didn't have it.
That's where we, it was nicknamed the cuss porch because I used to take seniors out on it on the cuss porch. Big plate glass windows in front of it. It's where you walk into the senior inn.
Okay.
They're at the old Buna High School.
Right.
I don't know what at the new Buna High School.
Yeah, I don't either.
And somebody said, I was out there chewing somebody out one day, and he says, I think he's cussing them out.
So it was
So it became the cuss porch from then on.
There you go.
So,
okay.
I used to take them out there so they would be questioning what in the world is he saying to them out there.
I remember you sending me out of the room.
Yes?
You just said, get out.
out.
You said, get out. I walked outside and I stood there by the door and I was looking in and you're like, get out. And I just was like, all right, well, I'm just going to chill out here. And so about 10 minutes before the end of the class, you came back and you opened the door and you're like, all right, get your stuff and get out of my class. And that was it. So I don't know what exactly happened to incite that, but we didn't get the cuss porch in 95. But
that was a newer invention.
Newer invention.
But it was a great invention because, you took everybody out there, boys and girls, and they were saying, man, is he cussing that girl out?
Yeah. Hey, tell us if you're tuning in on YouTube, which is the only place you can tune in. If you're tuning in on YouTube, tell us if you can hear us all right with this new microphone. We've got some sort of new microphone here, and
newfangled material here.
Yeah. So just shoot us a little message and just say, hey, you guys are. We can hear you loud and clear. We had a question. We got a question.
Yes, sir.
We got a question for Christians out there. If you're a Christian or you subscribe to the Christian faith, I guess what all does that include at this point?
I don't know at this point what a Christian is or even what a follower of Christ is anymore. I'll be honest with you. I am more confused than apparently you have to be a member of a certain political party to be a Christian now, from what my understanding is.
Really? What do you mean by that?
Well, in certain churches you go in there and they only support one political party, and they talk about candidates in there like they are Jesus themselves, and would rather talk about certain political candidates than Jesus himself.
Like Trump.
Yeah, or the other side they talk about
Biden.
So, it's from both sides.
Do you think Biden's done a good job at this point?
At this point, we had a decent president since Reagan.
Decent president?
Yeah, that's my opinion.
I got
And
you.
I've said this forever.
you.
We haven't had a decent president since Reagan.
I got
And
you.
before that, we hadn't had a decent president since Truman. And I don't even remember Truman.
Yeah, I have been shocked. I have been shocked at the political. I don't know why. Because all church is political and all political is church.
But it wasn't this bad. It's gotten worse.
You think?
Oh, yeah.
Or you just think awareness has gotten...
No. It's gotten worse.
Well,
At one time, Jay, the church used to talk solely about Jesus.
right.
Not anymore.
When was that?
Yeah, it's been a long
What was that?
time.
What was that? Because
70s?
from
70s?
There you go. That's the reason I
The
don't remember.
70s? I remember when we used to have a mission spirit, Jay.
Yeah.
We used to go on mission trips.
Yeah.
We used to send our kids on mission trips. I went on mission trips to the colonias in South Texas. We wouldn't send our kids into the colonias in South Texas for nothing, for fear they'd be killed or
Yeah.
kidnapped or worse.
Sure.
We used to go down there and not thinking, 14 years old, walking around in the colonias and not batting an eye.
Talking about Jesus.
And talking about Jesus.
See-
and they were glad to see us and happy to see us. But I wonder if the same thing would happen today. Or they'd kill
Well,
us.
no, I can tell you what's happening right now. This is what's disturbing to me. And this is not just churches, but these are these little nonprofit groups and maybe some school activities and stuff like that. I have seen more young panhandlers out here on street corners holding buckets.
Yes.
And I'm sitting here going, are you joking?
Yes.
Send our kids to Disneyland. We're going to stand over here. Send them to Disneyland.
Or some softball business.
Yeah,
it's always some softball, some baseball, some basketball, some kind of something other.
They got to raise money for that stuff because in the long run, man, most parents can't afford some of that stuff that these special leagues and all this stuff. I mean, I thought I was being honored whenever they asked me to be a part of the academic scholarship deal or what. You remember that thing where they'd go? They asked me, they're like, Jay, we need to talk to you. I go in there and sit down, and they're like, we've been watching, and we want you to be a part of our team. And I'm like, holy crap, I must be doing way better than I thought I was doing. I get in there, they had an A student, a B student, a C student, a D student, and I'm the C student. I'm like, God almighty. They brought me to, fill that thing out, but anyway,
a lot of that was being paid for by the state of Texas.
Yeah, Kathy Darling.
Yes.
So she went with us, but I don't know. I have a problem. I have a huge problem. I don't want to jump on a bunch of kids, but I'm going to jump on their parents. I've got a huge problem with panhandling for sending your kids to some sort of missions deal or sending your kids to Disneyland or sending your kids anywhere. Far as I'm concerned, why are they going to stand out there? I mean, honestly, I saw this just the other day in the most obscure place on the planet, Bleakwood, Texas, at 363. They had kids on all four corners. One kid has got a cell phone out like this, scrolling like this, and had the bucket in the other hand.
He got to keep up with his Instagram.
But I'm sitting here going, all we're doing is training our kids to be panhandlers. If you need to go somewhere, beg.
But bum it off somebody else.
That's all we've got to do.
Oh,
turn our kids into beggars. And I mean, to me, I remember back in the day, if we were going to go to like youth camp for church or whatever,
right,
we would wake up in the mornings on Saturday morning, and we would wake up about 6 o'clock, and we would all go in a bus down to the blueberry farm, and we would pick blueberries on the halves, and we'd give them our halves. They'd give us some money for it for picking all the blueberries. You see what I'm saying? I mean, come on, man. I remember scrubbing until my elbows hurt. They had an idea. Let's go and wash some windows down there at Brookshire Brothers. So as people are walking up, you're teaching them how to engage the public, and then how to provide a product, and then how to collect funds, and then how not to steal that money and bring it back. As opposed to what's going on today, we've got a whole generation of panhandlers standing out here on these street corners. And I'll be honest with you, I don't care if y'all wearing the same colored shirt or not. I don't care. Get your ass out there and go to work. I mean, to me, it just doesn't make any sense. Why are we teaching our kids, already the softest generation that's ever been in the U.S.? Would you agree with that?
I've got to agree.
Or at least in the past 65 years you've been around.
Jay, I keep saying, high school is a joke now. College is a joke now.
100%.
I'm sitting there going,
it's the Matrix's way of saddling you with debt.
It's a joke.
That's all college is right now. It's the Matrix's way to saddle you with debt and leave you in debt. I've got friends of mine was in their mid-40s before they had their stuff paid off, their loans and stuff.
And I'm sitting there going, some of these people are majoring in stuff I never even heard of before.
Sure.
Sports management. What in the heck do you do with a degree in sports management?
Yeah.
When we went and saw my daughter-in-law get her business degree where you can get a job,
right?
We were sitting in there with a bunch of other people with other degrees, programs. Jay, I swear there were 150 people getting a degree in health.
Do you know
what in the heck are you gonna do with a degree in health?
But think about it.
And I was told, I thought at first, well, they're going to go be coaches. And I was told, oh no, these people are not being coaches. They've not gotten a teacher certificate.
Wow. So what
are they going to do with it?
Wow. I don't know.
If you're a coach and you're getting a health certificate, well, we can kind of see that.
It's a basket weaving
It's not even basket weaving. It's health.
Yeah.
I guess, you get out and you run around and you eat the right foods and you're going to be healthy and you got a degree in it.
Well, what's crazy is, there's such a push, though. There's such a push for giving this generation of child the life that we all never had, which basically means we want our kids not to have to work. We want them to be able to walk around on clouds, have food float in, and have all of their needs and issues handled before they even know their needs and issues.
What are we going to do here when the economy collapses here in the next 6 months? Because I've been looking at the cycles and the charts and the graphs.
Yeah.
It don't look good.
We're going to be.
I don't care what it says. It don't look good, folks. Y'all need to get ready. It does not look good. And we're fixing to have a shortage of food. We're fixing to have a shortage of everything else. Look, we can't even get cars built in this country anymore.
Yeah.
I
think we're going to be eating our children is what's going to be happening, because the moment that
you got 15 of them, so you're good to go.
The moment that they wake up and they realize that the Pop-Tarts are not coming and the Cheetos are no longer on the shelf.
There's already a shortage of Fritos.
I know.
That's
what I'm talking about.
That's almost right. They run out of coffee. We got problems here.
I think it goes back to the whole thing of raising a brittle society. You take hard times making great men, right?
All right.
Hard times making great men. And then great men create good times, right?
Right.
And good times create worthless men.
And we're right to the point we're having good times. Jay, do you think, not to get theological on it, but I don't care, do you think God is looking at us going, y'all have got it too good, I got to do something to y'all. You have gotten away from me, I got to do something to y'all. He used to do this to Israel back in the Old Testament. Israel would get away and it'll be living the good times, and all of a sudden, lo and behold, they've been enslaved by the Egyptians or enslaved by the
and the real question is this, though:
the Iranians or
if we look at it, the real question is this: is that on God, or is that just a cycle of humanity? If you take God out of the mix, because I go back to the old joke talking about
could be just us.
If you take God out of the mix and you put him on that same street corner that the devil's on in that joke, and he said he's tired of people blaming stuff on him, could it be that we're just that bad?
It could be we're just that bad.
I think it is. I think there's more to this.
We're 225, 230 years old. Most empires, most countries that are worth a flip last about 200 years.
Yeah, unless
we're not the Roman Empire, and the Roman Empire basically split up after about 500.
Yeah. We got somebody who was wanting to call in. You can give us a call at 384-2626. We'll put you on the air and talk about some of the topics that you want to throw out there if you so choose to, because we can grab a phone line here in our bat cave, if you will. But I will say this, to me, I think humanity is just that bad. I think we're just that bad, and we're just that
humanity
good.
Or America?
I think it's humanity because, if you go back to
what you're talking about. The whole world is a mess
You were talking about the Israelites just a minute ago, right?
That's true.
So,
That's true.
And, who's to say that, we weren't founded by the Israelites and the Germans? So,
The Israelites and the Germans?
Well, think about it. Think about the whole group. Think about it. NASA wouldn't exist if it weren't for Germans.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
Most of our...
The Soviet rocket scientists and our rocket scientists
the Jews
were
and
all
the Germans.
German Jews. You're right.
Think about it.
Yeah.
So
you're right.
Let me grab that before Steve grabs it. I don't grab it. I got you. Yeah, just so he won't hold. That's all right. We had no communication with our guy here. See if we can pull that phone closer. We're gonna jump on the phone here. Let's see who we got. Caller. Go ahead, caller. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
So what I was curious about is how in the world that all these people in the Jasper area are receiving these. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
How in the world all these people are receiving these glow homes or flood theme homes when nobody in the Jasper area flooded? I mean, one minute you've got one that looks like a beach house, the next minute one's on a slab right next door to it.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've got welders, nurses, loggers, principals, teachers. It's insane what's going on around here. It seems like the biggest scam ever. From what I gather from some folks talking around Jasper is that they figured out how to fill out the paperwork and claim it's black mold. I know some folks that got one 10 years ago. Now here it is. They're tearing it down and building them a brand new one. There's two back behind Mike Lout's station through the woods that have elevators because they're in low spots in Jasper.
Dude, what?
Got elevators?
Yeah, it's insane. You know, I don't know who to talk to, who to ask, but I mean, it's
Well,
the biggest scam I've ever seen.
well, I can tell you this. I mean, I was talking to Judge Mark Allen here just a couple of days ago, and he was talking about how there are still a number of counties that there's a second wave of like Harvey grants and stuff like that from Harvey, and so I'm wondering what kind of backlog they got in this process or in this system, because I have seen exactly what you're talking about, and you can pick these houses off a mile away because it's a house that looks like they have about, I would say, at least 50 yards worth of ramp that's built on the sides of these houses, where they actually have these zigzag. For some reason, I don't know why that is.
It's got a wheelchair person in there?
Who knows?
Okay.
I've seen some people who are not even wheelchair ridden, and they've got a ramp up the side. And I was just like, what does that make sense?
How does that
I think
happen?
that was part of the stipulations of putting in the houses.
Well, I know some folks that definitely need one from where they were living before.
Well, absolutely.
But when you got people making twice what an average working person are making, and they're getting it, it's taxpayer money. It's just crazy.
There's no doubt. There's a lot of that going on. I don't know how all that works, but I think exactly what you just said there a minute ago about filling out the forms properly and all that stuff. And I have heard the black mold thing as well. If you declare that you have black mold in your house, and they're going to come out there, they're going to tear it down, they're going to rebuild you another one. And so I don't know what kind of groups are in charge of that, but I've heard and seen the same thing. So
the last thing is, has anybody seen the roll-up doors open at the old rodeo arena? There was a lot of Jetco money went into that, and I've yet to see a door open.
Really?
Have you?
I have not seen it open. I thought it was. I was under the understanding that it was bought out by a private company.
Yes.
And that private company is utilizing it for. Now, this is about 6 months or a year old information, but the private company is using it for storage of storm related recovery items or things, like anything from maybe trucks to refrigerators. I don't know what all is going on, but that was the word I was told. Now I could be completely wrong, but so Jedco put their money in it.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of taxpayers' money tied up over there.
Good grief.
Well, see,
and
here's another thing. I heard of a company that'll remain nameless, at least for the moment, who used to be here and used to have they used to build some machinery, and they received a number of grants and stuff here locally, and they were required to have a certain amount of employees on payroll. Well, just by random, me and a guy show up over to their place. It's all locked up, and nobody's there, middle of the day, middle of the week, and nobody's there. And so they, too, had figured out how to manipulate these grants, and they had 8 or 10 people on payroll, and that's all they had to do was put 8 or 10 people on payroll, And it just so happens they lived in the community, so they were required to. So I'm sitting here going, who is policing these grants?
Nobody.
There you go.
Nobody. That's the problem. Nobody is
Another
policing
question.
them.
Who is policing the grants? Now here's another deal that I'm tearing into right now. Actually, me and some of the people who are helping us. There are, now this is going to step on some toes, but there are some nonprofit organizations that have been set up in Jasper County. They apply for grants regularly, but there's no clear indication as to what they do. And what we can actually tell is they get a paycheck. And there's a lot of prominent people in the community who are a part of these nonprofits.
Are they getting a paycheck, or do you know?
I can't substantiate that yet.
One way or the
we're
other.
Close.
One way or the
One
other.
way or the other. You know.
Is this federal grant money? Is this state grant money?
All I can say is this: if they're getting paid grant money and they're running a nonprofit, and the nonprofit really doesn't have an end-all
Didn't
objective,
do anything.
then what are we talking about here?
Y'all have a good one and keep doing what you're doing.
All right, man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you calling in. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to call in, give us a call, 384-2626. You just saw how that works. We got about 10 minutes, 12 minutes there left in the show. Yeah, our question, we were going to try to knock on some religious doors, but
Yeah, we're kind of to the end of the.
yeah,
we might
we
get
can-
religion next
yeah,
week or the week after.
What's happening?
Yeah,
We need to get a preacher in here.
need to get a couple of preachers in here.
Yeah, we'll see if they can lead us to the right way.
Yeah, maybe
You know?
maybe that teaches how to pass the plate right.
Well, I don't need that. I don't need none of that.
That's right. You grew up with it.
Yeah, I grew up with that. Yeah, we had some really nice plates too. Really nice offer plates.
Really?
They had like I wouldn't say velvet, but they had some sort of thing in the bottom that
Yeah.
was like it was soft.
So the coins and the
So the coins didn't rattle
would
around.
rattle around,
Yeah.
and the dollars wouldn't fly
Didn't
out.
want people on the other side to know how much had been
how
put
much
in.
money
it.
been thrown in
That's
the,
right.
in the pot? Yeah.
But no, here's the thing, man. There's a lot of things going on in the community, and I'll be honest with you. Not all of it's evil. Not all of it's bad. Not all of it's good either. You know? And so here in Jasper, Newton County, I think going back to civility, I think that is a big thing. Why can't we sit down? Why do you think people can't sit down and... When you guys used to have
We don't-
issues down
we-
there in Buena, when you used to have issues in Buena, how would y'all handle those?
We used to be able to go in together and talk it out. Used to be you would go into the principal's office and hash it out. Used to be people in the community were able to go in and speak to the superintendent of schools and hash it out. Used to be people used to be able to go before the board of trustees and hash it out. But it's gotten to the point where nobody who is in any sort of leadership wants to be able to hear any kind of problem and just basically passes it over or makes fun of them or just goes on. It's a different world now. I don't know how to describe it.
So
Are they they don't solve any problems. They just smooth it over.
yeah,
Just smooth it over.
yeah. Let's act like it didn't happen.
Yeah, they just smooth it over.
I think
we don't
this-
fix it, we
I
just
think-
smooth it over.
I think this is part of this new brittle society. Is that nobody can take, and it doesn't even have to be a strong form of confrontation. It can just be disagreement. No one can take disagreement at this point. I honest to God,
Everybody's right and nobody's wrong.
well,
Everybody's right and nobody's wrong.
But to-
And that's why they look at it. I'm right, you're wrong,
yeah,
but you're not wrong
We don't
because
want-
you don't think you are.
yeah, and I
Even
mean,
though one or the other is wrong. If that makes
yeah,
sense.
it's almost like this graying over, if you will. We've grayed over all of the right answers. We've grayed over how this thing, how we get from point A to point B, coming back to being able to communicate and talk things out. It really is odd. It's odd. And we're raising this brittle generation who obviously can't. There's a lot of them out here who, they're emotionally, how many people out here have children who are currently dealing with anxiety issues?
I'm dealing with anxiety issue 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
But how many people out here are dealing with young people who are dealing with anxiety issues?
More than in the past.
Social anxiety.
More than
issues.
in the past.
Social anxiety. I'm sitting here going,
what's a social anxiety?
well, they don't know how to interact with. They don't know how to interact with society. They don't know how to interact with society because they would rather you send them a text. Please send me a text before you're going to come and talk to me face to face, because I need to prepare myself. Brittle. If Louisiana wanted to attack Texas right now, we'd be in a bind.
Probably so. By the way, I got a text from somebody who was wondering if we somehow or another are anti-gay. And no, we're not.
Well,
no, we're not.
I'll let you speak on that, and then I'll speak for myself.
Trust me, I am not. Once again, I am on the philosophical libertarian belief of, my libertarian belief. I think that my gay neighbors should be able to protect their marijuana plants with assault rifles.
There you go.
That's been my philosophy for a while here now.
So, my take on that, let's see here. It looks like we got another caller. Go ahead, caller. Maybe I missed it. We'll get to you. My take on that is this. As far as being against gay people.
All right.
I am against gay people.
Oh?
If they're assholes. If they're jerks.
Yeah, but that could be straight people, too.
I am against straight people who are the same way. And so my thing is, to me, here's the deal. I don't think the government should be involved in whether or not, in determining who you ought to bed down with, right? Or who you ought to spend the rest of your life. I don't think the government ought to be involved in the process of all of the drugs and all this stuff.
Well, I think it needs to be legalized.
I think it does too, because right now
they're losing the battle. They're not winning.
Right now, fentanyl's winning the battle,
big time.
Until this thing gets regulated, that's going to affect that. So to me, I don't think the government ought to be involved. And I say government, and I use that loosely. I'm talking about federal government. I don't mean state government. I don't think the government ought to be involved in marriages.
Yes and no, and here's why. Here's why I've got a problem with the government not being involved in marriages.
Because they won't know you.
Kids.
Why?
Kids, because somebody will leave and the kid will be. Somebody will have 15 kids.
Right.
A guy will, and ain't paid child support yet.
So you think
at some point in time, somebody needs to. If it takes two to tango.
I'm talking the act of marriage.
Okay, the act of marriage itself.
I think
What are you talking?
I think the government should be out of the act of marriage. I
don't have a problem with that, but here's where I have a problem with. If you got kids, the government step in.
But the kid, they can do that with this common law crap that we got running around right now.
Yeah.
So to me, it's one test to prove whether or not the man showed up for the party.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying?
That's true.
So to me, you can hold them accountable on that end. I don't think
as far as the marriage.
I don't think the government ought to be involved in the marriage side of things. I think that ought to be an individual thing, and maybe even if you so choose, it to be a religious
thing. Yeah.
At the same time, that goes against a lot of my upbringing. You know what I mean?
I fixate.
At the same, I'm not. I was raised to believe more of a scriptural interpretation of gay and homosexual and all this stuff. Yes, very, very straight white. I say straight white, but straight a man and woman.
You coming with me divider tonight?
Yeah. But straight man and woman type of thing, But here's the deal: to each his own in this deal. All I can tell you is this: do what gives you peace, and try to find Jesus in the process. That's my goal, because from what I could tell, from the little bit of reading I've done, Jesus at some point is going to be in charge of the judgment day, right?
It's what I.
That's
believe.
what they say.
It's what I believe. But once again, I'm such a libertarian that if you want to believe that something else, I don't have a problem with that either.
Yeah. Absolutely.
No.
I don't believe in indoctrination. This is where I may have a difference with the the religious sect and the LGBTQ
No
community.
proselytation.
Proselytizing is a no. I'm not for proselytizing.
Okay.
Work out your own life with fear and trembling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so figure it out. Do I believe children ought to be exposed to hyper doses and hyper amounts of religion? No. Do I believe they need to be exposed to that level from the LGBT community? No. Across the board, categorically, I'm against proselytizing. And so,
what about at home? Do you believe in it or not?
Because
you grew up
about proselytizing my children?
Proselytizing at home.
Here's what we've done, okay? And we probably haven't done the best job, but at the same time, our kids are healthy. They're trying to find their pursuits and go from there.
Yeah, none are in Huntsville.
No, none are in Huntsville. But the thing is, one of the things that we tried to do, because my wife and I were very, very, we were raised at the altar of the church. I was practically born there.
Yes, we know.
And coming out of that, it was almost like it took some years to try to work some of those things out of my mind and all that stuff. At the same time, if you want to go to church and do that, hallelujah. Do what you feel like you need to do and follow your peace. At the same time, for me, in my household, I decided I didn't want dogma to be part of the program, so we backed out of the fellowships that we were involved in. And whenever we had opportunities to talk to our kids...
And you as a parent, I think that's your business, yeah.
That's it, yeah. And so far as what my kids believe, I would hope at some point that they find a relationship with their Creator, and they find a good relationship with their spouse, and everybody lives happily ever after.
Right.
There's way too much stress and pressure put on it from me as a kid. And, and so church was all I knew. Church was the only thing that I knew. And so, and it wasn't bad. There were great people who went to church, and we were all like family, okay? But at the same time, there's the long-standing dogma and the long-standing things that once you kind of grow up a little bit, you realize, life is not black and white. Life is very gray.
I know we're at the top of the hour.
Yeah.
But the question is this. Do you think the church is the same church today as the one you grew up?
I think today is more of an Instagram version of what I experienced. It's more... There's way more ego.
I hadn't thought of it that way, but yeah.
There's way more ego involved. There's way more self-centeredness involved. There's way more. Now, here's the thing. Around here in Jasper, Newton County, this type of thing, some of you are like, man, what are y'all talking about? We got a great church. We've got 12 people who meet every week and this type of thing. So what I'm talking about is, I'm talking about the church as the nation, in the nation. I would say that the church has turned into more of an Instagram version. You got a lot of these guys like Stephen Furtick and some of these guys like Joel Osteen's. Man, I can't even listen to it.
And yet they have thousands and thousands of people every Sunday.
And all I can tell you is this. The thing that I think I see clear right now is this. Back during the whole Greek and Roman days, right?
Okay.
They had schools of philosophy.
Right.
And that's what we've got now. This is not about picking up your cross. This is not about suffering.
I don't even think it's about philosophy anymore.
Well, the deal is this. If we could teach people how to feel better about themselves.
Well, that's what it's about now.
Because Jesus wants you to be wealthy. Because in order for you to come into the fullness of what God's called you to, you need to have funding. So until you get funding, till you get your money right.
So when I step out there, that Learjet's going to be out there waiting for me to take me home?
Exactly. That's the name of this game at this point. And so to me, I think we just, it's almost like Instagram, social media, all that has just fast forwarded this thing, and it has exposed maybe the hearts of what was going on in the 80s. Because you got to think about this. Church of the 60s, 70s, and 80s is a totally different ball game than the church of today.
Yeah.
And vice versa. It's totally different going back to the 20s to the 50s. Totally different.
I really think it was started to change in the 70s I really, really.
Probably after the music stuff
saw-
started kicking off.
Yeah, and I started seeing the change in the 70s.
And you didn't
I
like
really
that. You didn't like that. You didn't like the
7-Eleven music?
No, no. Yeah, I sent that deal over to you for you to watch that the Jesus music.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't like the deal.
Yeah.
You know why I liked it?
Why'd you like it?
Here's why I liked it. I got to see a lot of people that I watched, and obviously, whenever you're growing up, confined to the church, you get to see the actual backstories of what these people lived through.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, really? It was that bad?
Yeah.
Russ Taff sitting there talking. Russ Taff was my favorite back in the day. Listen to that guy with the Imperials. I was just like, yes. And then Petra came out, and I was like, oh my God, what are we doing here? And then I could never get into what's the Striper? I couldn't get into all that stuff.
Yeah, I remember Striper back in.
But at the same time, I'm sitting here going, yes.
Striper was big when I was in seminary. Big.
Yeah.
Oh, they were awful.
They were
awful.
Hey, you say they were awful, but do you hear everywhere that they sold out?
I know it.
Yeah.
I know it.
So-
They made millions of dollars on the road.
Yeah, and
awful.
I don't know. To me, I think, there's a big divide between classic music in the church versus like your hymnals and stuff like that, hymn songs and all that, and this modern contemporary side of things.
Right.
And so in that process, it was interesting to watch that transition. It was interesting to watch that transition. It was also interesting to watch that Bill Gaither is actually directly related or directly has his hands involved with helping a lot of those guys try to recover and do a lot of those.
You know why? There's a lot of money in that.
Well, the recovery?
There's a lot of
The
money
recovery
in that.
side?
There's a lot of money in that.
Do you think it boils down to money?
Yeah.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
See, I don't know. I had a great appreciation after I watched that on a couple of levels because it was like even watching.
Once again, follow the money. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
follow the money.
I would have to
Sorry.
agree with it, but I'm
Yeah.
sitting here looking at some of these situations. I'm like, golly, man, guy lost his son to overdose and all that, all this stuff, and I was just like, it's just stuff that you won't. It's stuff that you won't hear. I mean, it's stuff that I haven't heard anybody come out on the church side
talk
of things.
about, yeah.
And I felt like Michael W. Smith and Amy Grant, that was kind of interesting details,
Yeah.
pretty wild. If you get a chance out there, hey, look us up. We're on notonthepayroll.com. We have a debate coming up on May 3rd for Newton County.
Have you bought your suit for it yet? Are you going to wear a suit?
I'm trying to figure that part out,
Okay.
man, to be honest with you.
Hey,
I'm
if push
trying
comes to shove, go to JCPenney and get you one. It'll work.
JCPenney, and where's my price point? Where am I
I
supposed to
don't know,
start?
man. That's your
I
call.
mean, what can you get
That
at?
is
What
your
can
call.
you
Well,
get
I
at
don't know,
JCPenney?
but you can get one at JCPenney that'll look halfway decent. You don't have to go to Brooks Brothers or fly to England over to Huntsman or anything like that and get one specially made, Redmond or anything like that, or Henry Poole, get one made over there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. Hey, listen up, guys. We have been here 2 hours and 5 minutes. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you would, like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. We are trying to get up to 1,000 followers. Or subscribers, I think it is.
Yeah, subscribers.
Yeah, subscribers on YouTube. That's specific. Subscribers on YouTube. If you're a friend of us on Facebook and you're not a subscriber on our YouTube channel, please go over there and check that out. How many subscribers do you think we can get this week?
I'll work on it. We'll see.
What?
Let's
20?
see if we can bust 300.
Bust 300?
Let's see if we can bust 300.
Right now we're at 205.
Let's try.
Okay.
Worst
there you have
thing
it.
that can happen is no.
There you have
Worst
it.
thing can happen is no.
Ladies and gentlemen, like, share, and subscribe. Hey, if you haven't heard, Jesus loves you,
We do too.
and so do we. We'll see y'all next week, 7 o'clock, not on the payroll.